Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are so excited to bring you our last mock draft. And just a reminder, join us for the draft. We're going to go live, and it's going to be Craig and I hanging out, watching the draft. So come join us as we watch the draft together. So in this, Craig, you and I both put up or finished out our mock drafts, rounds 1, 2, and 3. So let's look at that. Your initial
Yes.
reaction to these. You kind of look at what Craig did and what I did. Craig,
Ooh,
what
who
what
had the
kind of
better draft? Leave it in the comments
yeah,
below.
who do you like better? Now he did pull off a trade, which is
Of course I
which
did.
which is going to be great. You know, I mean, a trade. We all want to trade. So, Craig, what are your thoughts though as you kind of went through your draft? What kind of played out?
Yeah, so what played out with mine was I get to 32 and there are like 4 guys on the board that I was more than happy to take. So I'm going to start, I know, at 32 with the trade, but then I want to kind of go back to my number 2
Mhm.
because I'm already regretting it, and I'll explain why in a second. But this is really interesting. So at 32, I saw like 4 guys on the board. I'm like, oh, I'd take any of those. So when I saw a trade back offered to go back to 35, I already knew I had the 34th. I knew I would still get 2 picks that I loved. I know, and I understand I'm missing that 5th year option on one of the players. But when you pick up 2 round 4 picks, it just makes sense to me. So I traded pick 32 for 35, 111, and 117 to the Jets. This is after a couple of rejected trade offers. I actually was wheeling and dealing a little bit. So I was still able to get Lewis Seen, which made me really happy. And then the one that we said we all need to get, which is Christian Watson. Like, we were all about that one, right? So anyways, the second pick, I'm struggling, Chris, right now, and you're going to see this when we go live on draft night. I'm struggling who I like more, Trayvon Walker or Kayvon Thibodeau, because I'm starting to feel like Walker could be kind of that Cam Jordan for the New Orleans Saints type of role, where he's
Mm.
bigger, but he's an athletic freak. I think they misused him at Georgia because he was fitting to the scheme. And so, like, when they did let him pin his ears back, he was a just menace to handle. And I mean, he out tested Myles Garrett. I mean, like, the guy is a freak. So I'm kind of wondering, and I was just reading in The Athletic today how they do this thing before the draft where they talk to scouts and coaches, and everybody was super high on Trayvon Walker. So I'm wondering if I redid this draft, if I would
Yeah,
pick Walker over.
he's he is the guy that we just don't really know
We
because
don't know.
Georgia, you're right. I think when you make a great point. When you think pass rusher, you think fast, you think Thibodeau. You think that you're like that is the ideal pass rusher, but you're right. Cam Jordan, that's a great. He's big, physical. I'm sure there's some other comps we're not thinking of, but yeah, it's not just straight speed around the edge. It's man, it's can you hold the edge? Can you just
Yeah,
bull rush? Like there's a lot of DNs that can do a really good job without being just straight speed rusher. I think we always think
absolutely.
speed rusher, speed rusher. So I too struggled with mine, and I don't love it either because Thibodeau did go number 1 in mine, and then it
See,
goes to
that's I was gonna say, what
mm,
happened? What happened where you ended up with Hutch? So you went Hutch over Walker, because Hutch is firmly my 3rd or 4th D end
mhm.
in my mind right now.
Yeah, and it was yep, exactly. I mean, we've talked about it. So when I look at Hutchinson, and you and I have talked about this, hey, don't want him, but again, we're not crazy. Like the guy is going to be
No, we
pretty
know he's
solid.
good.
Yeah, I mean, come on, he's going to be pretty solid. We are just we just keep talking about our margin for error is so small, and we need some blue chip just players, man, just some dudes that are making things happen. And I think
Yeah,
Hutchinson's going to be a really good defensive end starter. He's going to get all the way, through his rookie deal. He's going to get a decent second contract. I mean, he's just going to be really good. But
yeah.
I want some pop in there. So regretting it a little bit, but I'm also happy with it as well. I mean, Hutchinson,
Yep.
come on, he's going to be
Yeah,
good.
but you
Yep.
you get a guy with a high floor, right?
Hmm.
You get a guy with a high floor, a guy who can play really, really well in a 4-3 defense that can set the edge. He can be an effective pass rusher in Hutchinson, and he can even drop back. It's not like you're going to want him to be doing that in the NFL a lot, but he can do all of those things. So I don't think Hutch is a bad pick there. It's a very safe pick. I think That's the thing everybody says. And then you went Quay Walker, linebacker, and then Lewis Seen. I think two guys that have very, very high upside as playmakers. So you let Hutchinson kind of be steady Eddie there on the
Yeah.
line. And then you have two guys behind him that are filling in that are playmakers. I mean, that's really solid. What was your thought process there?
Yeah, I was just looking at mine and yours, and we both did the similar thing where it's edge,
Yeah.
safety, linebacker at
Yep.
some combination. We got to get that. So that was what I was thinking was I saw Scene there, and again, we keep talking about 32, 34. That's just a great spot because I saw him sitting there. I was like, I want to get Quay Walker. I want to get that linebacker because we do
Yeah.
technically have our safeties filled, whereas linebacker, I feel like we don't have
Mhm.
near the holes. There's still some holes there. So was able to get
Yeah.
him. I doubled up on linebacker as well, but um, that's where I was looking for Christian Harris, and he wasn't there later on because so I went with the guy from
When you
Oklahoma,
went,
but
so at 66, you went Asamoah because Harris wasn't around.
yeah. So
Interesting.
how'd you feel about Harris being there still?
Yeah. So, couple of things. When I was finishing up my board, I was at 35. Watson was there. His average draft position was like 42.5 or something like that when I'm looking at the board. And I'm like, okay, we just put out a video where I made this big thing about how we need to get Christian Watson. I thought to myself, I traded back to have two extra picks, 111, 117. So with this 35th pick, I could get a little more gutsy with it and
Mm-hmm.
hope that we still had a good linebacker available at 66. So I go Watson purely for upside and the athletic freak that he is. And then with Christian Harris, when he was sitting there at 66, I'm like, thank you. Like,
Oh,
this is great. I will take you all day because I mean, we've mocked him in the past. We've picked him at 34.
yeah, and right, and that's the thing. We keep saying it. Somebody's gonna fall, and I just hope we nail the big stuff and
Yeah.
the edge, the safety, the linebacker at some point. And that's the thing. If we can get a Christian Harris at 66, man, that opens up this 34, 32, 34. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just endless. The more you look at this, the more you realize, holy smokes, dude, like that's why you and I just keep saying, knock out the
Yeah.
big stuff, the stuff that's right in front of you, the layups. If take them, let's move on. Let's not get cute early on because there's going to be some other depth pieces too that are nice, man.
Yeah. Well, and I get too, like with Christian Watson, I get like people are worried about his hands. And I understand that like the he's not a natural catcher of the ball and stuff like this. But here's the thing. A guy that played at a small school, he is a layup when it comes to personality, work ethic, and athletic ability. Like he is just A+ in all of those areas. And I understand having great hands is important, just like when we talk about bend, when we talk about all these different things. So I think that's good. And then I'll give you my final pick here too. It might be strange. Sorry, that's a really
Mm.
bad pun.
Mm.
But I saw Cole Strange just sitting there, and his average draft position was like 82 to 85, somewhere in there. So I know we need a long-term plan for Vitae. And I think the third round is a good place to draft so we can let Vitae go. And then Cole Strange next year will be ready to be your starting guard. This year he can be your swing guard. And so really with this, the offensive line is completely set, both starters and backups. And he showed some freak athleticism, but he's going to have to adjust to playing in the NFL from a small school. So give him a year to do it. And I just thought
Yeah.
it was a really good place that you could get a future high quality starting guard. I think third round is an awesome spot for that on the offensive line.
Yeah, and I think as Lions fans, we're really digging just having a really nice offensive line, and
Yeah.
nobody's like, "Oh, we already have that." It's like, "Oh no, good." Build up, like get the depth pieces. We
Yep.
we we know there's going to be an injury. You've got this guy that can swing around because usually guards can play center. So then you've got three positions filled. So I love it, and I think we will do it because you're right. There's some depth there in the interior line, and yeah, just long term, it'd be nice to maybe identify somebody. And that's what I did with Jelani Woods too, is just
Yep.
tight end. Obviously we have a tight end, but man, we just no real depth. And look, that's a position that's not going to be something that you live and die by, but it's definitely like, man, a tight end, because Hawkinson's going to get hurt. I mean, probably. And so it's like,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to have a body in there
Unfortunately.
that can yeah, absolutely. So but what I like is you look at both of our drafts. If we just knock out the stuff that's in front of us, you're going to come away with now a starting edge, a starting safety, starting linebacker, and then then you've got these other kind of, hey, Christian Watson, hey, maybe he can do it right out of the gates. He could, and then Jelani Woods, maybe he's really good. So you and I are going to get, or the Lions are going to get 4th, 5th, and 6th round picks that, hey, maybe they pop, maybe they don't. And that's what's great about your trade is you give yourself a chance. I've been reading more and more about people like just get a lot of picks because basically half of these guys don't work. It's just the way it is. I don't care. GM after GM after GM tries and they get about 50% right. So if you've got 8 picks, then you're going to get 4 guys. Hello.
Yep.
If you have 2 picks, you're going to get 1 dude out of this. So it's like, just get picks. And that is our biggest thing. Our biggest takeaway is trade at all costs. It just works out so much better for everybody.
And trade down if anything,
yes,
right?
Trade down.
The trade up can work, but trade down for sure.
And
I will say this. I'm going to say something unique, and I'm sure we'll do another video on this. Another reason for Christian Watson, I feel like I have to justify this at 35. Another reason for it, I have to throw it to the Athletic guys, their podcast. They were talking about maybe you need to get a receiver every other year this time around because and I was thinking about that. I'm like, why? And then you look at some of the massive contracts receivers are signing. Like Tyreek Hill, didn't he just sign for like $30 million a year or something ridiculous like that? Like 4 years, $120 million. And it's just like, you can't afford to do that. So you need to keep that young talent because you don't want to put 20 to 30 million into a receiver. That might be a teaser for another video that we're doing. I'm looking at you, Deebo Samuel. So like just one of those things. And I shouldn't talk any more about it because I'm sure I'll have to save it for the next video.
No, you're exactly right. That's a position that I felt like it was high priority. It was like something you needed. Then it kind of fell off. People were like running the ball, didn't really know. And now it's like, it'd be really nice to have a receiver again that you can just throw a slant to and he takes it 40 yards. And it's like, it's so huge. And that you see it. I mean, teams are paying these guys just like, 20,
massive
30 mil in that. So
quarterback money.
Well, let us know in the comments whose draft did you like better, and we should have set that up more in the beginning. Like, really,
I said something.
I know I should have.
I said something.
Really hammered that home. Let us know what you thought, and then join us for the draft live 8 p.m.
live.
Craig,
let's go.
Else? Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to
interacting with people. Like I could not be more excited.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome. So join us then, and we will see all of you on the next one.
See you.